Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Module 0, Lesson 6. Again, this is a pre-recorded lesson, and congrats to everybody that made it to the end of Module 0. This is the last lesson. So this lesson is going to be a little different than the previous ones, and you'll see what I mean whenever we jump into it. And some announcements that I want to make before we jump into it is book pickup times. I sent a message about it last week, and I talked about it yesterday in the previous lesson. So again, Thursday, September 10th, I believe, is our book pickup time for 8th grade. The time periods to pick up the book at the school are between 12 to 1 and another time period of between 3 to 4 p.m. So again, please let your parents know that they have to come by the school to pick up the books that we're going to be starting for or reading for Module 1 and Module 2. And we start Module 1 starting next week. So please come by and pick up your books. If you cannot make those times or that day, please let me know, and I will work with you to find a time so that everyone can get their books. Okay? And as always, please send in your assignments because I really do not want to have to put zeros in there. I've already started to put zeros for the notice and wonder discussion because a good number of you have not turned them in. If you turn them in, I know it's past the due date, but you can still turn in that notice and wonder discussion, and I will replace that zero in the grade book with the actual grade that you got on the assignment. Another thing is we are having a test Friday over what we learned in Module 0. We're going to be spending Thursday reviewing what we're going to be, what's going to be on the test so that you are prepared for it. Okay, but I think that's all the announcements. And I think I'm going to go over a couple of them at the end of this PowerPoint to remind everybody. But without further ado, let's get started with Module 0, Lesson 6. So as you can see, what would normally pop up with the poem in the first slide is now a painting. So that's what the main difference is we're still going to talk about the poem a little bit, but the main thing that we're going to be analyzing for this lesson is a painting. And I'm going to tell you the artist of the painting and the name of the painting later on, but for right now, I just want you to take a couple of minutes to view and analyze the painting, look from top to bottom, left to right, look at the details in the painting, like the lines and the colors that are used. So take a couple of minutes to look at the painting, jot down anything that you notice about it, and then come back to this video. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to do that. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you noticed some pretty cool things about that painting, and we're gonna be talking about it later. So like always, we start with the important questions of the lesson. So the essential question still remains the same throughout the entire module. It is, how do we build knowledge through reading? And I know what you're wondering, we're not really reading anything this lesson, so how does that make sense for this lesson? But like text or like that poem, paintings can build knowledge for us and develop understanding, right? So by studying this painting that this lesson provides, it can help us answer this essential question. And it might be able to give us another approach and offer a second way to understand how we build knowledge by looking at a visual art like painting, right? So it can give us a second way, a second approach, if you will. And again, as you can see, the focusing question is different for this one. Lessons 1 through 5 had the same focusing question, but for lesson 6, it changed. The new focusing question is, what can we learn from studying visual art? So what can we learn from studying this painting? And we can learn a whole lot from studying visual arts, paintings. And by the end of this lesson, you should be able to answer this focusing question, okay? And the content framing question, as always, is different. The content framing question is, how does this painting build my knowledge? So the content framing question is very similar to the lesson 5 content framing question, but it's just about the painting, okay, instead of the text. So moving on is notice and wonder. As you recall, we've done a notice / wonder before, right? I think we did that in lesson, I want to say lesson 2. Maybe it was lesson 1. Look through one of those folders. We've done a notice and wonder before. That was our first assignment for this class, was the notice and wonder. So hopefully you still remember how to do it, okay? So what I want you to do, let me see. Yeah, what I want you to do is look at that painting, and I provided a copy of it in the folder labeled 99, so today's folder. You can also go back to that PowerPoint where the painting was on, the slide. But I want you to look at that painting and do a notice and wonder for it. Write down any things that you notice and write down any things that you still wonder about the poem. So some examples of what you might notice is, what's the first thing that catches your eye in the painting? And then what else do you see after that? Is there anything unusual about this painting? Right? Anything that catches your eye? And an example of a wonder question could be, is there anything else you would like to know about this painting? Any questions you have about it. So take a couple of minutes to do that, right? Pause this video, write down any notices, any wonders that you have, right? And then come back to this video, okay? So take a couple minutes to do that. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you wrote down some good observations about this painting and some good questions about it. So I'm gonna share with you a couple that I noticed and a couple questions that I still wonder about this painting. So I said that I noticed, or that I see a woman wearing a striped dress sleeping in the sand. I said some mountains are visible in the distance and a full moon is shining down onto the scene that is painted. A lion stands next to her. The lion seems to be standing still. The woman lying down has a walking stick, a jug, and a stringed instrument with her. And the artist uses a lot of dark or neutral colors to create this image. There's not a lot of bright colors that they're using. And for some questions or wonders that I wrote down, I said, I wonder what the setting of this painting is, the location. I wonder who the woman is and where she's going. So, I saw that the woman has a walking stick and, water. So obviously she's traveling. Let's see. I also said, is that a real lion? Because I noticed that the woman was larger than the lion, or will the lion hurt the woman? And then one of the last notices I said, is the woman a musician? And if so, what kind of music does she play? Right. So those are just some of the things I wrote, and hopefully you came up with some of them I didn't even find, or that you had a lot of similarities. But if you want, you can take your notice and wonders and put them in your response journal tab under your digital notebook. For this one, remember, put it in your module 1 section instead of your module 0, okay? So next is some vocabulary. This chart is a vocabulary of some terms you may use whenever you talk about a painting. So just look through that. You see line is a single long unbroken mark that a point makes as it moves through the space. So these are just some of the vocabulary terms you may use whenever you talk about a painting or you analyze a painting, right? And not just a painting, any type of visual art would probably come across in these terms. So now you know what the definition means, right? And again, you can put this in your digital notebook as well if you want. Again, that is up to you. So this is an activity that I have prepared for the virtual class students. It's going to be a little bit harder for y'all doing the pre-recorded lessons to do, but this is going to be where you can still look at everything and see the answers that we came up with, right? So the main purpose of this lesson is to ask a lot of questions about what we're seeing and write down a lot of like we did annotating, write down a lot of observations that we're making about the painting, right? Okay, so artists use specific tools to practice their craft and to draw viewers' attention to particular parts of their work, right? So some artists do use certain tools to really draw your attention to the parts that they really want you to pay attention to, right? And focusing on how the artist uses colors, lines, and shape um, to tell a story really helps your understanding of what the painting is trying to tell you. So right now, there's going to be a Google slide, right? I'm going to open it. It's basic, Google slide activity that we've always done. And then you see the painting right here. And it's just going to be a couple questions that I'm going to ask this class, right? And I'm going to write down their answers here and write down some answers that I found that they may have missed. So I know you can't really participate in this activity because you're in the pre-recorded lesson, but you can still look through the PowerPoint and see what we came up with and better understand what we're trying to see what the artist is doing, right? And trying to see the strategies that the artist uses to tell the story of the painting and what the meaning is. So let me go back to here. Okay, so after looking through those questions and making the observations, it's finally time to tell you some information about the painting. So like I said in the beginning, I'm going to tell you the artist name, the background of the artist, and the name of the painting, because those are very crucial information and helps you get a better understanding of the painting, right? And like I said, by just looking at a painting or visual art, you can see the meaning or the main ideas through it, right? It doesn't just have to be text or anything that you can analyze. You can also analyze visual art, okay? So the title of this painting is The Sleeping Gypsy, right? And the artist's name is Henri Rousseau. And this was painted in 1897, and Rousseau lived in Paris, France, and he began painting as an adult, right? He didn't paint as a kid. He had no prior art lessons or anything like that. He just jumped straight into it. And a lot of art critics ridiculed his work. Like, they didn't like it at all. And his art, they said it was considered too childlike and it looked unrealistic. And the paintings did not sell well because of that. I don't think he sold any paintings, to be honest with you, while he was alive, but he had a lot of influence. A lot of younger artists like Picasso. Hopefully, you've heard of Picasso. Um, they appreciated his work, right? And so while he didn't have a lot of commercial success, he did have a lot of influence on the younger artists coming up, right? So he lived a very poor life. He didn't have a whole lot during his lifetime, but he painted a lot and he used his imagination and put it all on the canvas for other people to see, right? And a lot of that background information of the artist really helps in your understanding of why they're painting or what they're painting, right? So again, as always, as we do with every lesson, we're doing a Padlet. It's just one of my favorite things to do for y'all because you can see everyone's answers. But obviously you don't see anything right now because this is pre-recorded before I actually do the lesson and everyone starts answering. So for this Padlet, I want y'all to answer 2 questions. First one is, what does the title help you understand about this painting? And number 2, what message does this painting convey? All right, so the title is obviously the Sleeping Gypsy, and hopefully the title and the artist's background and everything help you see what the message is about, right? So I want you to write down your own thoughts and your own answers to this, and then come back to the video, and I will tell you what my answers to this question are, or my opinions about it. Okay, so take a couple minutes to answer this, and then I will talk to you soon. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you answered the questions in the Padlet. So now I'm going to share with you all what I wrote down and what my opinions were about it. So for the first question, what does the title help you understand about this painting? I said that So again, the title was The Sleeping Gypsy. And I said that the title confirms that the painting is of a woman sleeping, which makes me think that it could be a dream. And then that basically helps me understand that, um, the painting is basically dreamlike and imaginative, and which helps you understand why she's, not scared of the lion, or why she's traveling with nothing but a walking stick and a jug of water, because, she seems unafraid because it's a dream and she's using her imagination. And this, for the second question, what message does this painting convey? I basically said that what the essential message is, my opinion, is that we can use our imaginations to travel through art or through dreams. So again, I think this painting has a big thing to deal with imagination and what we can do with the power of imagination, right? So hopefully you all understand that a little bit better. Moving on. I know in the beginning we said we're going to talk about the text a little bit, and how we're going to talk about the text is I want you guys to compare the painting to the text, right? How do the artist of the painting, Henry Russo, and the author of the poem, Nikki Giovanni, build your knowledge of ideas about imagination and reading, right? How do Henry Russo and Nikki Giovanni build your knowledge of ideas about imagination and reading? So take a couple of minutes to think about that question and answer it for yourself, and then come back to this video and we'll go over it together, okay? Okay, so welcome back. Hopefully you thought of an answer for yourself and you brainstormed. So in my opinion, whenever I think of this question, obviously we know from the poem of how big imagination was, and how the speaker could transport herself to new worlds and dream of new places, right? Through reading. So for the painting, I said that this, in my opinion, the woman sleeping in the painting, she's traveling through her sleep. She's imagining, and she seems unafraid because she has the ability of her dreams and her imagination. And I also said that through the artist background, I said Rousseau was poor, and he was never able to see the places he dreamed about. He never left Paris in his life, but he could explore them in his imagination and his paintings. So, the common theme is you're able to go through a different world and travel in your mind through the power of your imagination, right? You can experience new things through imagination and through your mind, right? And you can build on your own knowledge of the world by just, using your brain. So again, there is another assignment due. It's on your course homepage. It's gonna be a document, and when you click on that document, it's gonna have a picture of the painting, or the picture of the painting, and you're gonna answer the questions on the document. Okay, so on your course homepage, and if you want, after you're done, you can post it under your response journal tab in your digital notebook under module 1, right? So again, please turn those assignments in. This is another one due, okay? So again, wrap up. Hopefully you understood what we went through and all the analysis that we did over the painting. And hopefully you're able to answer this content framing question for yourself. Content framing question was, how does this painting build my knowledge? And again, it's through the use of imagination and what Henry Russo wanted you to see, right? And wanted you to understand of how you can use your imagination to travel and travel safely, and learn and build on your own experiences and build your knowledge through just thinking. And again, as a reminder, like I said in the beginning of this video, please turn in your assignments. I do not want to have to give you a 0 for it. So, and if you have any questions about the assignments, please let me know. And again, information about the book pickup that I told you all about in the beginning, please let your parents know about that. And if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, email me, message me on Schoology, or go to the question board. But other than that, that was the end of module 0. Again, we're gonna have a test on Friday, but Thursday's gonna be a review day, so hopefully you're all prepared for that. And but that is it, and I will see you all for module 1.